Good morning, everyone. Today, I think I'm going to focus more on a feedback testimonial experience type video for the body braid. I will be doing more instructional, more adaptations, more tips and tricks. But today, I just want to kind of focus on discussing how much this system has impacted me and what kind of differences it has made and why am I so passionate about it and why am I going to be blowing up my feeds with a whole bunch of body braid. Just one, I'm a little bit obsessive, and when I find something that I'm very passionate about or that really makes a difference to me, that becomes kind of the thing that I'm obsessed with. But it's just, honestly, it's amazing. uh, I know I did not record the first time I very first put on the body braid, and I'm kind of sad and glad that I didn't, because on one hand, I would have just, still been struggling with the fact that I bawled like a baby. I really did. I lost it. I was like, I don't understand why I'm crying. It was just a mess. And then, I pulled it together. I practiced a few times and then I did my instructional video. But at the same time, it probably would have been good for people to see that, and know that if they have the same reaction, they're not alone, or to open conversation as to why, maybe that happened. I have very poor proprioception and kind of connection with my body and where it is and what I'm doing. And so I have a tendency to get hurt and I don't even feel it. I don't even know it. I don't even realize it. And I just keep on plugging along and making it worse. And then I feel it later. I fall over, tripping over air. They used to make fun of me in boot camp and when I was joining the military, because I was the girl that would trip over just straight up air and like be falling on flat on my face, and I'm short. So I was near the back of the order of the lines anyway. So yeah, I roll my ankles all the time. My knee just decides to go out when it wants to, all my joints like to do that. And I had no perception of my body. And as it got worse over the years, especially the last few years after having my son, that kind of traumatic change in your body can trigger a lot. I became somebody who wall walks and furniture walks. And anytime I'm walking anywhere, I'm trailing a hand along something that's solid to give me some sort of connection and awareness of where I am. And I had a service dog that was trained as a mobility dog with a boldly designed harness. And I mean, she was short and it was tall enough that it was not a weight bearing harness, but it was so I could have connection with the ground. And she would help just kind of give me that little bit of balance. And she passed away. And we were training another one of our dogs, but he appears to be showing early signs of hip dysplasia. So that's a no go. And I have canes, crutches, forearm crutches, walkers, wheelchairs, braces for every joint in the body. You name it, I probably have it. And they've all helped, and I use them when I need them now, because it took a long time for me to accept that I needed these things and to actually use them when I needed them. And of course, I just made myself worse during that time. And I was getting into social media and I found spoonies, and I found spoonies that had body braids, and I'd never seen it. I'd never heard of it. I had no idea what it was, but it just, seeing their reactions and hearing them talk about how much it just kind of helped hold things together a little bit, because my body doesn't hold itself together. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a connective tissue disorder. And basically, my connective tissue, my collagen is just not what it should be. It doesn't work right. And it affects multiple body systems and organs, as well as the joints as well. And so I saved up money, and I'm an impatient person. So instead of just getting the core, I went and got the whole damn thing. I got all of it. And as the day it arrived, I had to immediately rip it open and put it all on. And it was funny, but I can feel grounded. I don't feel like I'm not quite. I always had this feeling, not quite like I was floating away, but kind of disconnected. And it was very common for me to have a discombobulated feeling and like on top of the brain fog and everything else. And it would just be like I'm like halfway out of body experience almost all the time. And wearing this kind of pulls me back together and grounds me, and I can feel my body, and I don't feel like I'm halfway detached from my body and unstable and just kind of like what's going on. And now when I do things, I can do things more safely, and I can have greater endurance. And I recently did a 6-week program with MAP training and Greg. I know I'm going to say it wrong. Greg Sewers, and it was incredible. And one, it's great, incredible training because he adapted to every need and injury I had. But I normally will get hurt doing simple things and not know it. Wearing the body braid, because I wore it for every workout, even the ones when I was sitting in the wheelchair, I could feel the strain and feel the pressure and feel the range of motion. And I could feel when I was reaching it, that's not right. Your form must not be correct, or you're overdoing it, or. And I could feel it coming. I could feel it as it was happening. So I was able to stop and not have injuries and correct my form or change the exercise or, whatever the case was. And when I fell for a completely unrelated reason, and was in my wheelchair for several days just because, I needed to kind of recover and let the bruises heal, and I was dizzy and woozy. It helped me stay straight in good posture and keep that alignment and feel better even in the wheelchair because, that those things you kind of start getting sore eventually even in those. And I would wear it to bed. I would wear it 24/7 if I could, because when I take it off, there is a long lasting effect. I do still feel more of the connection. I do still have the better posture. I do still have more of that neural connection with all my nerves and all the different body systems. However, I also feel that a loss from not having that physical hold and touch immediately in that moment. And it can be hard. And I mean, I really do love it. And I am not a touch person. I'm so sensitive to touch because of my hypersensitivities. There are days where wearing any clothing is painful. I can't get a hug from my son. I can't get a kiss from my husband because it hurts. But I have not had any sort of pain reaction like that to the body braid. I can adjust how tight or snug or loose it is every time I put it on. And it's the straps are wide enough. It's not creating that kind of cut into your skin kind of pressure point type thing. And it's like that hug that I would like to get, but it doesn't hurt. And I'm not quite sure why, but it is amazing. And I think it's doing something to the nervous system. It's doing some sort of connection or something. I'm not a doctor. That's just kind of my guess, my hypothesis. But it makes a difference on my pain days. It makes a difference on my non-pain days. I was able to start taking a few more of the substitute shifts at my son's school. And before I was able to use the body braid, by the end of the kindergartners, you know, break, because I would break it down by grades, I could get the twinge. I'd be feeling the twinge. Even sitting and taking breaks, I still standing and walking as much as I can to interact with the kids and keep them safe because, they're children. I'd be feeling the twinge. By the end of first, second grade, even with taking breaks, even sitting down, even, just kind of, it would hurt. My back would hurt. My legs would hurt. Everything would hurt. By the end of third and fourth grade, I'm in pain and, wishing I hadn't taken the shift and, wishing I could just like go to bed and not get up for weeks. By the end of fifth, sixth grade, I've got shooting nerve pain going down the back of my leg, going down my leg, going into my foot, I may collapse when I try and get into my vehicle because I'm losing the ability to use my legs properly. I may fall just walking to my car. That's when it's really starting to like get to the point of you made a mistake even sitting, even taking breaks, even, doing all these adaptations so I can even do this at all, so I can feel like I have a sense of purpose in my life. It was a lot. And then, I'm in tears, and then I am basically laid out the rest of the day. And for days after, I couldn't take days, shifts, day back to back. And I can now. Now, granted, I still can overdo it quite easily and I still have the pain, but especially since Dr. Blair showed me an adaptation to support my lower back a little bit better and give me an extra wrap on that, I am able to make it all the way through and just start getting that twinge of pain and discomfort and soreness and, like, by the whole end of 6th grade. And I can come home and still, after, resting and taking care of myself, do a couple chores, do a little laundry, go get my kid, and then not spend the rest of the evening in my bed, because my back is like having nerve spasm pains, and it's just like, somebody sticking me with a cow prod. And that is, I I don't know that I have words to express how much that means. Not even just in a work sense, but I have a son who's about to turn 6. He also has EDS, but he doesn't feel it yet. He doesn't really care. And he is all boy and all energy and all physical needs. And his entire life, I have been, I hurt. I'm in pain. I can't do that. My back isn't good today. My knee went out. I can't walk. I can't do that. Or I will. I'll have a good day and I'll push myself, because for him, I feel like I owe that to him. And then I hurt myself even more. And some of the first things he could say outside of your standard words were like, I know you're hurting, mommy. It's okay. I know you hurt. My son shouldn't be worried about taking care of me. He shouldn't be worried about going to see friends without me going with him, because he doesn't feel safe with me being alone, because I'm hurting or I might get hurt. And he shouldn't be asking, do we need to call the ambulance because, I'm doing so poorly, or I'm hurting, or I'm falling, or whatever, you know. So this has made a difference, even in that he is showing less hesitance and fear, um, and not clinging to me as much already, because he can see that I can do more and I'm a little more stable. And now I'm seeing even a whole new side of him that's blossoming, and it's beautiful, but it's also sad to think that, that was kind of hiding there this whole time. And I'm going to preface and caveat and disclaimer, the body braid isn't going to fix my condition or my problems. It is not a cure, but it is an amazing adaptive tool that has drastically improved my quality of life and quality of life for my family as a whole. I can go out and we go to the amusement parks and I can do things, and yeah, I'll still have the wheelchair, but I'm not stuck to it. And I'm not hanging on to my husband for dear life or my canes or crutches, because, I'm all over the place because I have no sense of where my body is, and I'm just going to fall down if I walk out in the open. I, and even just sitting, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I can't overstate how important it is to have good alignment and to have everything kind of line up the way it should be, because that bundle of nerves going down your spinal cord controls everything. And when things aren't out of place and things are pinched and things are pressured and things aren't doing good, signals are not coming out the way they should and getting missed, and you're having more symptoms and more issues that are, you would think, completely unrelated. And I've had to learn these lessons the hard way over the years, but it is beyond important. And I look forward to seeing how much more I can do with this, how much more I'm capable to do, how much more I can strengthen my body without as much of a risk of injury. Because every physical therapy, every stretches, every workout regimen, I was getting hurt because I just couldn't feel my body. And this is making a huge difference in that. And who knows? The sky's the limit. I'm hopeful. And I want to say, even for those of you that may come across this that don't have health or medical issues or arthritis or sciatica or any of those other things, please still consider giving this a try. I think societally, I think the way that we are raised and just, the way culture and life is right now, I think every single human being has at least some amount of disconnect with their nervous system. And just like babies need that skin to skin, human beings need that kind of contact and that touch. And I think we are out of touch with our own bodies. Like literally, we are out of sync with our own bodies. And sitting at a desk all day, running around, standing at a fast food restaurant, whatever it is you do, this could benefit you. I mean, it truly is amazing. And I would go on for hours if I tried to list every single benefit, but please try it out. Um, Talk to friends who maybe who maybe have them. You see this video and you have questions, let me know. Put them in the comments, do a response video, whatever you want to do. If you have your own feedback and your own testimonials and your own, like, hey, yeah, or adaptations that you've learned that help you, let me know, because I am somewhat obsessed with getting the word out as far and wide to as many people as possible, because I'm 37 years old. I turned 38 this year, and I didn't know this existed until late last year. And I'm not the only person in my family with these conditions. And I can only dream of the benefit that even my family would have if I could get every single one of them a body braid to wear. And just the relief that I know that they would be able to get from it. And so reach out, respond, comment. I'm also going to be going to the LA Abilities Expo next month, trying to get out there and be less like socially anxious and, maybe talk to people in person. And I will be wearing my body braid. And, you come across and you see me and you're like, hey, can you, show me? It is not like I have to strip down naked. I will take it off and put it back on right there for you. In fact, I did that for my chiropractor appointment a couple months ago. She loves it. She'd seen it. She'd gone to a symposium. She's having a hard time with putting it all together and getting it on. And so I took it on and off like 3 times during that appointment for her and another physical therapist and another doctor, because it's not that difficult if you can just kind of get it right in your mind. And it is actually pretty easy to put on and take off. It is quick once you kind of get the hang of it, and it's worth it. I mean, I would do it all day. So I hope to see anybody out at the expo. I hope to hear from you guys, any comments, any experiences, any wishes, any questions. And I will be posting a whole bunch more of these. So if I don't see one, or you see this like way forever away from now, it's, I promise you, not too late. You can still get a hold of me, and I will still be happy to do some sort of response or research for you. But yeah, so before I get too much more emotional and lose my train of thought entirely, I'm going to sign off and say thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.